welcome to part 4 of the Top Studio detail up set build of Tamiya's Honda RC213V 2014. In this part we are moving on to parts 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on there. Well, that's the intention, so we'll see how far we get. So part 5 is really easy. Basically made up the bike stand. Doesn't need the wheels yet, we can do those at a later date. Part 6 is making up the rear damper. So with this I've already started off by painting it up, so a little bit left to do. So I've got chrome at the back here. This is a mixed up colour which is gold and metallic grey, and this is titanium silver, it looks like. So this just discs around the back here. Can we see that? Just needs a bit of Tamiya gold on that, and the front part says titanium silver and gold parts on there. And once I've painted those, we've got a spring and reservoir. There's a couple of decals on that, and that'll make that up. The spring and things there from the front fork set, which gives extra parts for there. Then we can move on to doing the rear swing arm and chain, and this is where the detail of parts kicks in. It's quite a lot of this is for the rear of the bike. So for the rear wheel, make up the rear rear disc, brake disc thing, what it's called, anyway, that. And then some detail parts go on the end where the wheel attaches to the swing arm itself. So something I've noticed is on the swing arm, on this side, the part itself has basically all ready to go with the detail parts, the photo-etched to go in there, whereas the other side needs a little bit of modification. So basically all this needs to go. So that's going to be fun to get rid of. So you just leave with the part at the back where the brake attaches, and the photo-etched builds up this detail in a bit more detail. And there's a few nuts and things to put on there as well, so that's going to keep me out of mischief. The chain itself basically is as with the bike, there's nothing extra to add on to that. And so it calls for the rear wheel to be done. I'll do both wheels as well, get them painted up. The only problem with that is I haven't got, these are done in the fluorescent orange, which I haven't got as yet. I've got it in order, but it's not arrived as yet, so we'll leave that to the end. If it doesn't come before this is finished, I'll do it at a later stage. But anyway, that's going to keep me out of mischief. So what I'll do is finish off the rear damper, and then we'll move on to alterations of this, and I'll film as I go along. See you in the next bit. Okay, so we're ready to put the parts together. So what we'll do is, because we need a good join, we'll use some of the contactor from Repsol. It's a bit stronger than the extra thin. You were about 2 seconds ago. There with. There we go. Okay, so don't forget to put the spring on, and there's little notch there that lines up with that there, so you know I've got everything straight. go, and a couple of CA glue to put this little turned metal part in. So that goes in there. There we go. So that's the rear damper put together. So once it's all dried off, we'll put a couple of decals on either side of there. So I'll just let that dry, and then we'll be back and put some of these decals on. Just got those two to go on. Back in a sec. Okay, just while I was letting that dry, we'll do this part, which is for the rear wheel. So we have the Tamiya part in there, and if I can pick the thing up. Photo-etched goes over the top of it, like that, and then this ring drops over the bottom. Some detail from that side. So let's see whether any of these parts are supposed to line up, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, so that's what we'll do while we're just waiting for that to go off. Okay. So I've got anything to just put it on there so we can hold it steady. Sorry about that, miles off camera. So I'll put some CA glue just around that bottom rim. Drop that over. Okay, that's all the way down. So again, we'll just check that's all flat all the way around. Looks like it is. So I'll let that dry for a sec. We'll do the other side. There we go, so that's that'll know. So again, just put that to one side, let it go off. Okay, and I'll just get ready to sort out these decals onto the little brass bit there. so that's the rear brake. Added this final ring here with the 4 little holes. I thought to press record, but it didn't, unfortunately. But basically the same as the other one, little bit of CA. Drop it on and get it lined up with the holes. So that is the rear disc brake. And if you hang on a sec, I'll just compare it to the model one. So there you go. So that's a most of the detail parts. So a lot more around the centre, or the cutout. Yeah, better spell that. And the back. Again, just so much better. So that looks how they're going together really quite well. A little bit of glue around the middle, but that'll cover it when it's painted. Okay, so let's put that to one side, and we'll see what we're going to make up next. Okay, so what we're doing now is move on to the swing arms themselves, which are these bits here. There's a lot of detail stuff to go on. So this side is where the brake goes. So which one's this one? That one. So I've already fitted the first part, which basically just wraps around and everything's placed on top of that. So a couple of extra bits, and a pin goes in the end, and then we fit the brake itself over the top of that. Which is made up of this part, which that hole goes over there, and this is the connector for the brake, which fits in here, and then the brake line goes off to the frame. Bit here, which is marked as T2 on the instructions. I haven't found where that goes yet, so I'm sure I'll find it in due course. Anyway, this will go on as well, and if I can find it, yep, just down the bottom here, these little spanks that go in the back of the swing arm. So quite a lot to do on there. So what I'll do, I'll get a bit of some pieces off, get them cleaned up, and then we'll apply them to these halves. So yeah, we're back in a minute or two when we've ready to stick things on. Okay, so that's the detail parts for the swing arm. I did this one really to practice, so I've not filmed it, just to get an idea what was involved. So there's a little resin part at the end, and the rest of it's the PE. It's got a little disc on the end of there, a couple of little screw heads, and this part. Detail that up. And on this side, which hopefully come out clear enough, we've got the brake, which I thought to press record before I fitted, but it didn't. Silly me. Basically just glues on over the what's the word? That thing. That grey thing there. Goes over that. And so the rest of it, as you saw, basically builds up. Well, the screw goes in there to hold the wheel on, and then you make up a nut to go over the top of that. And obviously we're doing that later when the screw's actually in. And there's a little pipe that leads out to the brake, where the brake cable goes to the body of the bike. So what I'm going to do is get these two stuck together. And get some glue. There you go, that's a swing arm. So just needs a little thing on the end of there, which is C24. Basically one of those. So we'll get that bobbed on, and we're ready for priming. Here we go, that's on. So we'll let all that harden before we do some priming. Okay, so we'll just call this the final part. It's got a new phone with a better camera. Basically, you can see what little space I've got to work in. So this is it. My spray booth is here. Got some lights up here. Computer's over there. So this is the only space I've got. Not an awful lot. This is where the magic happens. So we'll focus in a little later. So what have we done? So painted up in X11 chrome, and there's a couple of highlights picked out in titanium silver. At the back here, obviously finished off the bike stand. Painted the rear wheel. That's in the TS something. Where are we? There we go. That is TS 96 fluorescent orange. And fit it to the wheel. Wheel I just sanded off the little seam line that ran down it. The mudguard, that's X18. So we fitted the engine into the frame, and then covered up the little nuts with these detail parts on here. So just that little bit of extra detail looks better already, rather than having the head of the nut showing. And same again on this side, just covers up the end of the nut on this one here, and same here. So got the brake pad, so we made that up, and we fitted the wire into the bottom of the brake caliper, which comes up through the bug card and attaches to the back of the brake fluid reservoir, I'm guessing that is. And we fixed the chain in with this part here, which is titanium silver mostly. It's got a little PE at the top to make our display parts a little bit of extra detail. So that's where we are. So we fitted the suspension into the swing arm as well, just make out the spring in there. So that's where we are. So we'll call that part finished. So I'll be up with the next part, which I think will be looking at it mostly exhaust, which will then get fitted. Well, mostly one set of exhausts. There's exhausts come from the front, and there's some come from the back. So think about I'll do both together, because basically it's the same treatment to both of them. So we'll get those fitted up. There's bits of detail information and things on there. So thanks for watching this one, this part. And same as usual, if you like what you see, please subscribe. If you subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll be advised when as I want to put these builds up. And if you press the like button as well, that'll help me out as well. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next part.